Welcome back to Thistle Farmstead. Today we received our cutting die for the axle on our John Deere Z920 mower. If you remember in some of our previous videos, we were pulling the hub off of this mower to replace the axle seal. And in doing that, we kind of expanded the axle just a bit, so we couldn't get the nut totally back on it. So I had to order a cutting die, and I'm going to run that across the axle and see if we can clean up those threads and get it back on. So stay with us. And as usual, remember to press that like button if you find this video helpful. It helps me out a lot. And remember to subscribe to keep up to date with all of our videos. So if you remember in our last video, we were pulling the hub off of this axle in order to replace the seal. And in doing that, if you watch that video, and I'll put a link in the description below, you'll see that we really had to struggle to get that hub off of there. In doing that, it expanded the end of the axle shaft just a bit. So what I did was I ordered a die, 7/8 14, which is what these threads are, to run up on this axle to clean those threads up. When we expanded that axle, we couldn't really get the nut back on without forcing it, and I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to damage the axle or the nut. So I just put it back on temporarily and then ordered the die. So we're going to run that die up on there and see if we can clean those threads up. Okay, let's see if we can get this die started. Looks nice. Wow, it's going to be a little harder than I thought. Nope, no crooked. All right, how about that? How about that? Let's try that. Looks pretty good. Get a little more light down here. Okay, let's try that. And wouldn't you know it, look at that. Man, oh man. Don't have a wrench big enough. No way. Nope. Look at that. Okay, but I need to go get my 3/4. Oh man. Still not gonna do it. I went and got my file. Let's see if I can get some grooves to get us started here. on? What is going on with that thing? Okay, I think it's going up on there now, straight. What I was doing was working it back and forth to get it to cut those first couple threads so that it'll stay on there. Okay, let's see if I can work it a little bit more with this. Okay. I believe it's going on there straight now. All right. Let's keep at it a little bit at a time. Okay, looks like she's doing her job now. Let's see, put a little more oil on there. Okay, she's on there. Let me get you a better shot here. Okay. Die is up on there. The die has been cast. Threads look a heck of a lot better than they did before. Okay. Woo, she's a bit hot. Wow, those look a lot better. Okay. Let's get the axle nut and see how it looks on there. Oh, sweet. Look at that. Thread her on there by hand. I like it. Okay, so that has got that problem solved. When we worked on the hub before, we put the new seal in, but then we determined that this bearing was spinning too. And that's kind of where the oil was coming from. So like I said, I've ordered a new axle and a new bearing just in case the axle's damaged. And we'll be replacing those in a future video. So if anybody needs a 7/8/14 die, I know where you can get one. Alright, it was a little bit of trouble to get it started just because the end was so messed up, and I think it was so swollen on the end. You can see the big hole here where we had to pull that other bearing, or excuse me, the hub off of there. But it's on there now, so I'll slide the wheel back on. I'll put the dust cap back on, and then I'll slide the wheel back on, and we're ready to do some mowing until we get the bearing, and then we'll go for the next video. So, the first thing I need to do is take the hub out of this tire. I think that's a 3/4. Because, again, if you watched the previous video, you'll see that we just kind of temporarily put that hub on, or the wheel back on in the hub, because we couldn't get the nut all the way up. So if you're interested in that, look in the description below, and I'll give you a link to that video. Watch your ears. Okay. Get the hub out of there. Now we want to put that bad boy back on. We need a key. Key is over here on this side where you can't see it, but I got the key in there. Line up the keyway. And slide her on. There we go. So in the last video, you remember we had this spacer that we had to put on here just to get the axle nut started and keep the hub on. But that was just a piece of pipe we cut off. We don't need that anymore. Here's the washer. Remember, this washer goes with the big side out, and the reason for that is so the dust cap will snap onto there. And you see some of this brown stuff. When I was at my brother's shop, he had put some anti-seize on this when we thought we were just going to be able to spin it back on like that. Look at that. Nice. That's 1 5/16". That was refreshing to have that thread on there. As easy as that is. Okay, that's a lock nut, so you don't really have to crank it on there really tight. I'm just going to run it up, and then I'll use my there we go. That's good enough. All right, let's put the tire back on. That's a big boy, big tire. Oh man, forgot to put that dust cap on, but that's okay. I'll leave that off for now till we decide what we're going to do with the axle, and then we'll put it back on. It's not going to hurt anything, and I don't feel like taking it back off. How about that? It's amazing how you can justify things to yourself. Oops, get in there. But I will. This yellow dust cap back on. There we go. Make her look pretty. Aesthetics. Okay. There we go. Let me move you over here. And put our lug nuts back on. Okay, and then our 3/4 socket, or whatever I did with it. I'm sure that never happens to you if you use a socket and then it magically disappears. She's on and ready to do some mowing. Try out the new suspension seat we put in, and if you didn't catch that video, I'll put a link to it in the description below. Check it out. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I started mowing, it started to rain. So I'll have to finish up another day. Thanks for watching.